When the dawn broke this morning, with it brought gentle rain that was hitting the windows just ever so lightly, and I decided to sneak up to my favorite part of the house, my little corner of happiness. I've had this armoire for years. It was a purchase that I got on Craigslist, and I painted it making my own chalk paint, and it's still held up. You can see some signs of wear and tear, but it makes me love it even more. Inside of the top drawer, I like to keep all of my junk mail envelopes that I like to hoard. I just love those window envelopes. There's something so magical about the cellophane windows inside of these envelopes. They can either tell a story and reveal something behind them, or they can conceal a secret. Join me today as we're taking 2 of these envelopes and creating an adorable little flip out junk journal using all scraps and junk. I'm Ingrid Carlsen, and I am so very happy that you are here with me today. I hope that this video inspires you to slow down and appreciate the beauty around you, even in junk, even in something that was supposed to go in the garbage. We are going to breathe new life into it and make it into something beautiful that can live forevermore. If you're not already subscribed, I would love for you to consider doing so, and make sure you hit the bell so it notifies you anytime a new video comes out. As of right now, you can look for my videos to come out every other day. I'm going to start off by taking the 2 envelopes and folding them in half so that I can find the center, and then cutting them directly in the middle. I'm only going to be using 3 pieces, but for your journal, you can use as many as you want. These little envelopes have carried their story with them, whether they were filled with advertisements or bills, and now they are telling a different story. Using some scraps, we are going to be able to change their story and write a new one, a lovely story of beauty and love. And they won't just become a journal. They're going to become a treasure of memories, beauty, and dreams. On this first envelope, we are going to add some collage on the white areas of the envelope, and we're going to do it in a similar manner that we did our masterboard. If you missed that video, I do have it linked down below. It's a really great video. In this case, though, I don't want to have little scraps of paper that I want to conform to fit in these areas, since they're a little irregular and small. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of measure out my papers on the back side so I can mark them, and then cut them out so that they fit the spot exactly. If you're scared about collaging, a great tip that I think might be helpful to you is to pick out just a few papers, maybe 4 types of papers that you want to use, and go ahead and color code them so that they coordinate beautifully. I want to tell you that if you are holding on to scraps, it's probably because you love them. They bring you joy in their beauty. And so you're not going to go wrong by using some of these. By picking out just a few patterns or pages, this allows you to stop having to think about how and where to put the papers and instead just enjoy the meditative process of gluing down papers. When you are laying down your collage, it's up to you of how intricate you want it to go. You can have every paper going in completely different directions to add more interest. Or you can do like I've done on the back and have all the papers or most of the papers going in one direction. Remember, this is your story to tell. Although I only started off with 2 envelopes and I'm only going to be using 3 of those sides, each half of the envelope, I'm going to have 6 pages total at the end. I'm going to be collaging on 4 of them, and on 2 of them, we're going to be painting with watercolor. If you're anything like me, sometimes when I begin a project, I just want to get it done. I like that instant gratification of having something to show for my time. And I want to encourage you right now to take a deep breath, and instead of worrying about how fast you can do something, just feel the beauty around you. Look around and see all of your beautiful papers, your beautiful supplies, and the fact that you are blessed enough to be able to create something with your hands. I want you to stop, and as I'm painting the gesso and as you add your gesso, just feel each brush stroke. Focus on the brush hitting the paper and on the texture that you're creating. These little envelopes, or pieces of trash, as some may call them, serve us to show that there is beauty everywhere. We just need to slow down to find it. I wanted to show you that you can use a heat tool to dry up your gesso, but be very, very careful because the cellophane will warp. And you're going to see at the end of one of my watercolor pieces, it has a little bit of warping, and that could be because I wasn't paying attention and left the heat on for a little too long. But it's just part of its story now and adds to its charm. To bind our pages together, we are going to use more scraps. In this case, I am using some ledger paper. And if you haven't picked up your free copy of this ledger paper, I will have it linked down below in the description for you to enjoy along with some labels. I'm going to cut a few strips of this ledger paper out so that it's going to be my hinging or my binding. I love using this method for creating journals. It is simple and sweet, and I love the extra texture that the hinge brings. As you assemble your journal, do so with intention, knowing that each element is getting pieced together to make a beautiful piece of art. Every fold and every cut is a step towards making something meaningful. As you finish up with your binding and you start thinking about your watercolor, think about what story you want to tell today. This is where your personal touch comes in and where this journal becomes a true reflection of you and the story that you want to tell. And as you pull out your watercolor supplies, just take a look at your water cup and all the residue that's left behind by previous projects and colors. Just admire what it's been through and how you've used it in the past. Feel your paintbrushes in your hand and see the beauty in them of what a simple little object can do to create a beautiful piece of art. To mix up my watercolors, I'm going to use this beautiful plate that I thrifted a few years back. It's going to be lovely for me to mix my beautiful watercolors on, not only in practicality, but also in presentation. This is one of my very favorite things that I have. It's a watercolor palette that I made using some Daniel Smith half pans. I also have this mailing set, which is not very expensive at all and has gorgeous color to it. I do have it linked down in my Amazon storefront if you want a starter palette. Looking at all these colors, I can't help but be inspired to create something. Before we get started, I want to share with you my collection of art books. They are treasures that have been gifted to me by friends and family or that I've picked up while thrifting. I love coming here to get inspired. Let's take a peek into one of my very favorite art books for flowers. I'm immediately inspired by the colors and the textures of the pages inside. As I flip through the pages and see the different greens and pinks, I can't help but start dreaming of what I'm going to create next. What inspires you? Is there something that you go to get that boost of inspiration to go create something? Is it a show that you watch? Is it a view that you look at? Stop and ponder that for a moment. And then next time, before you start creating, go to that special place. Later in the video, I'm going to paint an adaptation of this flower right here. For me, the art of watercolor begins with a very light sketch. This is where my dream comes to fruition on the paper. My design today is inspired with a big I monogram in the front and then topped off with a dainty bow on the top. The bottom is going to be adorned with some whimsical leaves, giving it a Nora Ephron type of feel. To activate my watercolors, I'm going to spritz them with some water, but not before spritzing myself in the face first. Whenever I watercolor, I try not to add the color directly from the pan. Instead, I like to mix it with other colors to create a unique color. And as a pro tip, if you leave the original color, let's say that we're doing here in our crest, and then we add it to our other colors, they all become cohesive, even if it's just a dot. Watercolor, with its soft flowing nature, encourages us to let go and allow the water to do its work and to embrace unpredictability. Each brushstroke, each drop of paint is a reminder to slow down and enjoy the process and to see the beauty in this very moment. It's to take time to enjoy the process as much as the finished piece. As you can see, there's not a lot of space over on the right-hand side to add watercolor, but that does not mean that we can't fill the space that we do have with some interest and beauty. Here I'm going to draw out some vining leaves. And of course, they're going to be finished off with another little bow. Instead of focusing on your design being perfect or your leaves being exact, focus on the water and the color and how they play together. Stop to admire your beautiful work as well as the beautiful palette that you've left behind full of colors that tells the story of the creation of your journal. As a little added bonus to this adorable journal, I'm going to use my Flora book to create another floral on top of this little coin envelope. It is so darling and adorable and a wonderful surprise found inside of the pockets. One of the most wonderful aspects of this journal is that you can fold it so that it goes in any direction that you want. So if you feel later that the cover should be one and not the other, just fold it over again. As we finish up our journal, let's take a moment to think about what we've created. This journal, made with what was once considered trash, is now a tangible object, which is not only beautiful, but a testament to the power of creativity to be able to transform something ordinary into something extraordinary. But more importantly, to slow down and find beauty in everything around us. I thank you so much for being here. I hope that you have enjoyed this project and that it has inspired you today. A big thank you to my Patreons and to all of you for your love and your support. If you're not already subscribing, I encourage you to do so now and to make sure that you hit the like button if you found this video inspiring and useful. And in case you haven't heard it today, you are strong, you are courageous, and you are redeemed. Until next time, love you. Bye.